Florida fans, you're going to get your wish. It looks like you're going to get your wish. I predict Antbony Richardson is starting for the Florida Gators this Saturday at 3:30 in Jacksonville when my Georgia Bulldogs head down that way for the big Georgia versus Florida cocktail party. Yes, it's still called the cocktail party. Don't listen to what the TV tells you. Anyway, this isn't really a trash talk video. The hype and hate video, of course, will be out on Friday. So this isn't a trash talk video. This is just my opinion. I think Antbony Richardson will get to start for Florida. And if you listen to the Florida fans have been wanting this forever, well, congratulations, Florida man. You're going to get what you want. Now, will Emily Jones play? Of course, Emily Jones will play. Dan Mullen can't help himself. He's been addicted to the QB hokey pokey for as long as anybody can remember. And yes, I'm well aware Georgia has its own QB hokey pokey situation coming up this weekend in Jacksonville, too. The difference is both of Georgia's QBs are pretty good and capable of beating Florida, whereas neither of Florida's QBs are any good and neither is capable of beating Georgia. There's very few Florida fans even left who think Florida has a hope or a prayer in this game. And whatever hope or prayer they have, for whatever reason, they're hanging their hopes and prayers on the dream of Antbony Richardson starting, like that's going to be some sort of magic light switch that gets flipped for Florida's season that suddenly means they didn't give up over 300 yards rushing to the worst rushing team in the SEC 2 weeks ago, LSU. But I'm all for this. I don't understand really why Florida fans are so excited. Let me get this straight. You want Antbony Richardson to get the first start of his college career against the best defense college football has seen this century. That's what you want. Is there anyone left pretending Georgia does not have the best defense we've seen in college football in the last 20 years? Georgia has given up 46 points total this season. Total. Did you give up 40? You gave up 40 something just to LSU, but Georgia's defense has given up 46 points total this season. The second closest team has given up 100. So Georgia has given up less than half the number of points as the second best team. And the second best defense, and you want Antbony Richardson to get his first start against this Georgia defense. The Florida man is officially out of his mind, but I have a feeling Dan Mullen's going to cave to the fan pressure and start Antbony Richardson. Now, here's maybe a more important question. Does it matter who starts? And I don't mean in terms of the outcome of the game. We already know the outcome of the game. Georgia by a lot. Does it matter who starts in terms of they're both going to play, right? So it's been basically what? For the majority of the season, except when Antbony Richardson was hurt, it was basically 2 series for Emory Jones, a series for Antbony Richardson. 2 series for Emily Jones, a series for Antbony Richardson. You're probably going to see something similar to that, I would imagine, this week with Dan Mullen, but maybe reversed. So maybe Antbony Richardson gets 2 series and Emily Jones gets 1, whatever. But it's not going to matter. Look, the Florida Gators lead college football in interceptions thrown. There's not another team in the FBS throw more interceptions than the Gators. And you say, well, that's why we need to switch QBs. Antbony Richardson has 3 interceptions. And you say, well, that's not very many. Well, that's not very many if you've thrown 1 million passes. Antbony Richardson for the season, has attempted 37 passes. 37 passes. He's throwing an interception once every 12 passes. Antbony Richardson is. Hell, he had 2 against the Corn Dogs. And that was the only game he threw. That's the LSU game is the only game that Antbony Richardson has attempted more than, I think, 15 passes. Look at his stat lines. 2 of 3, 3 of 8, 4 of 6. And then the LSU game, I think he was 11 of 20 for 160 yards with the 2 interceptions. You say, yeah, well, but he can run. Great. Lots of people can run, but not against Georgia. Is he going to have 0 yards rushing? No. But the point is, he's going to turn the ball over. Whether by hook or by crook, whether by fumble or by INT, that's just what Florida QBs are doing this year. They're turning the ball over. Again, Antbony Richardson, 37 total passes for the entire season attempted. 3 interceptions. For you South Carolina fans that are watching, that is 1 every 12 passes, almost. That would be 36 attempts. So the 37 attempts, 3 interceptions, 1 almost every 12 passes. So how many passes will Antbony Richardson attempt in this game against Georgia? Well, if it's over 20, then it's very likely he throws not 1 but 2 INTs. I mean, these are just the numbers that we've seen so far this year. Antbony Richardson is not a great quarterback throwing the ball. The only reason Florida is so infatuated with Antbony Richardson is because they're not any good and he's the backup quarterback. This is what fans do a lot of times when their team sucks. Oh, man, we're terrible. Why don't we play the backup quarterback? Because he ain't no good either, Jack. He's just not. He's not. And this goes back to a bigger problem with Florida, and that's recruiting, which Dan Mullen can't do. And when I say he can't recruit, I mean literally he can't recruit right now. He's on NCAA probation. He's not allowed to recruit right now. So while you see all these teams and coaches signing all these players, Kirby Smart going to visit recruits during the bye week, all this kind of stuff, Dan Mullen's sitting at home playing Parcheesi. He can't recruit. And even when he's allowed to recruit, he still can't recruit. He doesn't have the ability. There's currently 22nd in recruiting for next year's class. This is going to end up being probably the worst 3 or 4 weeks of Dan Mullen's tenure at Florida. They lost to Kentucky. They lost to LSU. During the bye week and then this week, they have lost their top 2 commits for the 2022 class, at least one of which is going to Georgia, maybe both, but at least one is going to Georgia. And now you got to play Georgia. This is going to be the worst 4 weeks in Dan Mullen's tenure at Florida. And I don't think the Florida Gators will fire Dan Mullen at the end of this season, but he's currently number 1 on the hot seat list out of all the SEC coaches. There's not another coach in the SEC right now closer to getting fired than Dan Mullen. Now, like I said, I don't think it'll happen. I still think if Dan Mullen leaves Florida after this year, it's more likely he quits or resigns or takes a job in the NFL than it is that he gets fired. But next year, if he doesn't quit this year, next year could be it will be make or break for Dan Mullen. He's currently number 1 on the hot seat list. Now that Ed Orgeron has been shown the door at LSU, Dan Mullen takes over the coveted spot of the hottest coaching seat right now in the SEC. The fans are mad at him. He wouldn't fire Todd Grantham last year. They were mad at him about that. Now they're terrible, so they're mad at him about the QB decisions he's making or not making. Refusing to let Antbony Richardson start up until now when it's too late. You've already got your 3 losses, and no matter who or what you did at the quarterback position for the entirety of the season, you were never beating this year's Georgia team. Just wasn't going to happen. I mean, go all the way back. Like, Florida likes to pretend that the Georgia-Florida series didn't start until 1990. Now, we all know why they like to pretend that, and that's because Georgia absolutely owned them from the beginning of time to 1990. So they pretend nothing happened before that. So we'll stick with the 1990 deal. Since 1990, only twice has a double-digit underdog won this game. Florida won it once, I believe, in 2014, and Georgia won once as a double-digit underdog in the 90s. I think 97. Was that the only time we beat Florida in the 90s? But anyway, Kirby Smart was on that team and had him a couple of interceptions, by the way. So this idea that, it's a rivalry game, anything can happen, the point spread doesn't matter. It kind of matters. How many we play every year? Go back to 1990, that's 30, how many years is that? 31 years now. In 31 years, only twice has a double-digit underdog won this game, and this year will not be the 3rd time. Georgia's going to absolutely roll in this game. If you think the Florida fans are mad now about their quarterback situation, about Todd Grantham, about Dan Mullen, about how miserable they are, about the fact that they have to live in Florida, if you think they're mad and upset about all those things now, wait till 7:30 Saturday night. You ain't seen mad yet. Boy, they're going to be crying into their Fruit Loops. Crying into their Fruit Loops. Man. If you see a Florida man, give him a hug. They're going to need it.